For the last few weeks, a delegate to the Virginia legislature, Joseph D. Morrissey, former Democrat representing Henrico County, north of Richmond, has been campaigning by day for election to regain his seat out there, shaking hands with people, and then returning to his jail cell by night. The odd arrangement, the product of a plea deal in which the man known as Fightin' Joe Morrissey did not admit guilt, but conceded there was sufficient evidence to convict him of a misdemeanor charge of contributing to the delinquency of a minor. Fightin' Joe Morrissey was sentenced to a year, with 6 months of that sentence suspended. Morrissey resigned from office. However, he was allowed to serve his 6-month jail term under a work release program whereby he could leave jail during the day with electronic monitor, keep practicing law, and run to regain his office in a special election. The minor in question was 17 years old when she and he met in 2013 at the Foot and Ankle Center. Not making that up, it was the Foot and Ankle Center. Young woman was interested in law, and Morrissey later gave her a job at his law firm. Some kind of relationship ensued. Both Morrissey and the young woman deny having sexual intercourse, though the woman, it should be said, is now pregnant. But in the plea agreement submitted to the Circuit Court for Henrico County, the state submitted a series of text messages between the two of them, as well as texts between them and others, suggesting that they did indeed have sexual intercourse while she was still 17, a minor. The state was prepared to use this purported text from the young woman's cell phone to a friend's cell phone, which read, quote, "OMG, so much I have to tell you, but the most important thing, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, I just blanked my boss tonight in her office, on the desk, and on the floor." You would think that running for office from a jail cell would present both political and logistical obstacles to election, but yesterday, the day of the special election, here were the results.
Well, let's take a look at the spread, Carla, as Delegate Joe Morrissey sits in the Henrico County Regional Jail East behind me. He won with about 42% of the votes tonight, but legislators are now coming out and saying they aim to take that seat from him, the very seat he just won back.
During this campaign, I promised, like I had for the last 7.5 years, that I would run a positive campaign. The other opponent sent out 9 of the most hurtful, mean-spirited pieces I've ever seen, sent over 100,000 robocalls that were mean, and I said, we're not going that way.
Who'd have thought? They went negative on the guy in jail. Both the Republican and Democratic leaders in the Virginia House have expressed their displeasure with his win. Morrissey, after all, ran as an independent. It would take a 2/3 vote of the 100-member House of Delegates to expel Morrissey. That hasn't happened in over a century. Just for good measure, in addition to his current jail sentence, Morrissey has already faced disbarment. His law license has been suspended and revoked, and he's been in jail before for a courthouse fistfight. Well, all this got us thinking. It turns out this is not